So here I have VS Code launched, and if I come over here to the command terminal, you can just do it through command tick, sorry, the control and the tick key, or just come over here to terminal and new terminal. And if I just do .NET, as you can see, command not found. So that means .NET is not installed, and we need to do an install. So let's go over to where we can get the whole .NET SDK. Okay, so you can go over to this website, .net.microsoft.com, or you just go to Google and say .NET install. Anyway, so we are here on the .NET page, and we're gonna do get started. Okay, so they're gonna just tell you what everything is, and we're just gonna do get started. So here we need to install the .NET SDK. But since I'm on the Apple platform, they've detected that for me. If you're on Windows, they're gonna give the Windows package. We're gonna click on that, and as you can see, it's downloading. So let's wait for it to download. Okay, so the SDK has been downloaded, and we can go over and open that. So when I double click on it, then I get basically this. So we're just going to do continue, and we are going to do install. So you can see it's going to install it on the hard drive, I guess. Yeah, where else can it go? I'm just going to do install. I'm going to enter my password. Okay, cool. With that done, as you can see, this is the SDK version 9.0.3002. We're just going to do close, and we're just going to do move to trash. Apple has this one cool thing, you can just move the item to trash. Anyways, with that done, you can read the whole thing, but I'm just going to walk you guys through and make it easy for you guys. So let's come on over here to the VS Code that we had, and if I do .NET now, it still won't find it. So maybe I'm going to launch a new window. Okay, here's the new window. So let's open the terminal, and if we do .NET, and boom, .NET is actually installed. Pretty cool. Let's close this one. We're just going to focus on this window. Okay, so there's a couple of, I would say, extensions that you can install to make your life easier. We are going to come over here to the extensions tab, and we're just going to do C#. And let's see, so devkit is a good one, so let's install that. It's from Microsoft. I'm going to do install, and this one is install. And if you come here and if you do command shift P or control shift P on your thing, you can do .NET, right? And then here you can add a new project. As you can see, I have .NET new project, so I'm going to click on that one, and it's going to now go through templates. So you get all these different templates. What we want to build is a Blazor web app. And we're going to do to do like that, and let's see, create and say open. Okay, it's going to say Blazor app one. We're going to do instead to do app, and it's going to say select the solution. And if you come over here and open it, then here is the components, and in the components you have the layout, and then you have the pages. We're going to talk about it, but let's run it and see what happens. So you can come over here and hit this button. We're going to do run and debug, and then we are going to come over here and select C#, and then from here you're going to select the to do app default configuration. So let's select that, and then I can hit the play button. Actually, you can get select the default app. Anyways, so now it's going to install the local SSL certificate, and we need to just confirm that. So let me enter that. Okay, so the app has been launched, as you can see. So this is our .NET app, sorry, .NET Blazor app. And by the way, one thing I had to do is I had to restart the my laptop because it was not recognizing .NET for some reason. Anyway, so when that is done, so this is your app. Let's see if we can put them side by side. We can do development that a little bit much easier. So let me quickly do that. Okay, so it's very straightforward. Pretty much, I'm going to come over here, and let's say I have the home, that Razor file, right? That's the template file. And let's say I want to change this to welcome to our new app. And we can say Blazor. We're going to save it. Is we need to come over here and just do a restart. And as you can see, it opens a new tab, and we have Blazor is fun. How cool is that? So let's do a .NET watch so we can do a hot reload. So we're gonna cd into the to-do app, and I'm going to do .NET watch. And as you can see now, it is going to watch the app file change before restarting. Okay, so we're going to do Blazor. So let's say if I do B, all caps, and if I save it, okay, so it's giving some error. .NET watch exited with core with error this, and there we go. So it opens a new one. So that means I can bring this here and I can close the other ones. And let's see if I'll just add one more. I'm going to save it. Okay, there you go. It added exclamation mark. Okay, and then I'm going to save it, and there you go. We are building a to-do app. Okay, so let's get started with this. If I go to counter, they have this counter, and they have, when you click it, it goes up. So let's add a feature where when we click it, the count will actually go down. And that'll be a good way to start to mess around with these files. So let's open the files here. So we have the layout and the pages. So the pages is basically the individual components, right? So as you can see, I am on the counter. As you can see, URL. As you can see, this is the counter. If I go to, let's say, weather, then I land on the weather component. So when you put in the word here, it will match with the whatever you have here, and then it's going to route to that one. Now, how does it know where to go? If I go to weather, as you can see at the very top, they have this add page directive, and that's what's matching actually. So if I go to, for example, home, there's nothing here, so that means it's gonna be just the slash, right? And that's how it works. So let's say I want to go back to counter, I can come over here and do counter, and it's going to take me to the counter component. So that's how you build your components. You can add basically subdirectories to kind of go to like a sub component, and we'll probably touch on that. Anyways, so now that we have that, by the way, one of the other beauty of this is that I can, for example, come over here to the, let's say that's the main layout. I can come over here to the home, let's say, component. And here, what I can do is I can do counter. If I save it, then if I go to home, as you can see now the counter has been added to the home component. So this is very helpful. Let's say you have a form, you want to use it in multiple places, you can just do it this way. You create the component once and you can add it. And you guys will see, we can actually pass in parameters to this, which is pretty cool. But let's save this and remove that. And let's go back to the task that we were talking about. How can we add a button to it to decrement the count? Because currently it only goes up. And maybe also see how we can see if it's negative or positive. So let's come over here to the counter. As you can see, let me close this one. They have this button that basically just the increment count. So how about we create another function? I'm going to do private void. We're going to do decrement, and we're going to do count like that. So by the way, they follow the Pascal casing, right? So you can see uppercase and all the file names, everything is uppercase starting. So then here, what we do is we're going to do current count minus minus. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So we need to add a button. I can copy this one and I can paste it here, and we are going to do decrement count, right? And for this one, if I spelled it correctly, it should be decrement count like that. Whoa, I want to copy this, paste it here, and let's save it. And both of them says click me. I think we should change it. We're gonna do, for example, up, and for this one, I'm gonna do down. So let's save it and let's see how this will work. So if I do up, you see it's going up, and this one is going down. How cool is that? Up, down, right? How about we add something that if the count is, say, positive, then it will say positive. If it's negative, it will say negative. So how can we do that? Well, we can just come on over here, and we can add that here. So what you can do is you can add actually the conditional C# here, right here. So I can do, for example, something like this. If, right, you're going to use the @ symbol. I'm going to do if, and then we're going to do current count is less than 0, right? Then you do basically a p tag. We're going to do count is we're going to do positive. Let's just do plus, right? Otherwise, else, and we're going to do if current count is less than 0, then I can do this, and I can say is minus. Let's save it and let's see what happens. So if I go up, nothing happens, and if I go down, nothing happens. Well, there you go. So what we made a mistake. Oh, I think it should be this. If it's greater than 0, yeah. So let's save it. So now it's minus. If I go up, sorry, we're going down. So if I go up, as you can see, it says it's positive, and if I go down, then it's minus. If I go up, it's positive. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I mean, we could actually simplify this, right? Instead of doing all this, maybe what we could do is this. So let's say I can do a p tag, and then what I can do is at current count, right? If it is greater than 0, you can do the ternary operator. Then I can say positive. Otherwise, we can do negative. Okay, and then since we want to execute all of this, so what you can do is encapsulate this in this kind of brackets so that everything is all enclosed. Actually get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to save this. So now as you can see, this is positive, and if I do down, that's negative, and up is positive. So I think this is better than this one. I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to save it. So now we have this. You could of course add one for 0, but I'm going to leave that as an exercise, but you get the idea. You can write in your HTML, mess up with, use C# and change the or mess up with the data. Okay, so that's that. Now how about we want to increment this by, in steps. So let's say I want to increment this by in steps of 10 or 20. How can we do that? So what we can do is come over here, and I can add an input. Okay, I'm going to give it a type of number. Okay, and then we need to bind this to a value. So how do we do this? We can come over here and we can do private int. We can do step. So step will be 1 by default, but we can actually change it. So the way we're going to do this, you're going to use the @bind directive, and I'm going to bind it to step. So let's save it. So if I come here, of course nothing happens because we haven't used it. So in here, what I can do is I can do plus equals step and minus equals step. So let's save it. So that means we're incrementing by this step. So now if I come over here and I change this to 10, if I do, as you can see, it's going up by 10 and it's going down by tens. So I think that's pretty cool. So one thing you can do, let's say you want to use this component somewhere else, but you don't want to increment by maybe 10, maybe you want to increment by 20. How can you do that? So let's go over to home, and what I can do is I can do counter. Okay, and then here we can pass in the step, but we don't have access to it. So how are we gonna access it? So we're gonna go back here, and you're gonna use an attribute. Okay, and that attribute is called parameter like that. So I'm going to save this, and of course it's going to give me an error because this is private. So we need to make this public like that. And one thing I need to do is I need to turn this into a getter and setter. So we're going to do get set, and the default will be 1. Okay, so let's add the semicolon, and this should work. Okay, we need to save this one, but what I will do is let me save it, and what I will do is if I come here, I have access to step. So what I will do is I'll change step to 20. So in here on the home, we will have a step of 20, but in the counter, we're just going to have a step of whatever we specify here. So let's come over here, let's refresh. And if I come here, I'm doing steps of 1. But if I go to home, as you can see, I'm not seeing the counter. Why is that? If you might need to restart the, yeah, if, okay, do you want to restart your app? We're just going to do yes. And let's see. I think if the hard reload encounters an error, yeah, you have to do this. Anyways, so if I go to home now, as you can see, the default I've specified 20 is that, but if I go to my counter, it's 1. How cool is that? So I can do up, and it's going up by that amount. So we have used one component, but by utilizing the parameter, we can specify different values for it. I think that's pretty amazing. Okay, so that is your kind of I would say introduction to how you can change components and all that. And let's go a little bit more, I guess, deep into it, and we can add a, add a new menu item. So how about we do that? So let's come over here, and we're gonna close everything, and then I can come over to the nav menu, and I'm going to copy this one, right? And let's just collapse this. I'm gonna do this one. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one. We're going to add our to do. Okay, and we're going to see how we can add a new component. So let's just do to do. I'm going to save it, and boom, right away you have a to do. So if I go over here currently, because it's going to weather, so that's why it's not going to work. I'm going to do to do, and if I go to do, it's going to say not found because it doesn't exist. So how do we do this? So you're going to come over here, and under the page, I'm going to create a new file. It's going to be to-do.razor. It should be razor. There, so we have that. So first of all, we need to give it a page directive. If you guys remember, and it's going to be to do. Let's save it, and then I'm going to do right away. Going to be to dos, and then save it. So now if I go to do, boom, we're not hitting that. Why is that? Okay, so I had to restart the hot reload. So now that we have the to do, as you can see, we can load it, but we can't do anything with it right now. So what we need to do is add a maybe input a button, and we need a checkbox for a way to be able to multi to dos as completed and all that. You will learn a lot of cool things here. So we're gonna close all of this, and then we are going to come over here to the main root component, and sorry, the project. We're going to create a new file, and it's going to be todo.cs. So that's the C# file, and here we are going to create a to-do class. So this to-do will be basically the to-do item. Actually, that's what it is. So it's going to be to-do item C#, and then what we can do is we can create a class. It's going to be public class to-do item. So this represents one item in the to-do list. As you can see, the auto refactor is already helping us. So what we can do is we can accept it. I don't need the key, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I also don't need this one. But what we do need is a boolean to see if it's complete or not. Yes, that's what I wanted. Kind of hurt me, I guess. That's kind of scary. So what we need is we need this, and then, oops, I don't want that. I don't know what happened. Why is it highlighting that? Must contain a non-null value. So what we can do for that is we can make it optional, right? You can add the question mark. That means it's optional, so it won't bite us. Anyway, so now that we have kind of the model for the data, then what we can do is close this, and we can come over here and start to use it. So what we need is, as I said, we need an input. So we're going to do input. Type will be text. Okay, and then what we need also is a button. Okay, and this will be add. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and there you go right away. So this by default .NET, by the way, uses Bootstrap, and you can add Bootstrap classes to kind of make things fancy. And I'm going to show you guys. So if I come over here and I do Bootstrap, and you can go to docs, and if I come over here, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with this. So if I go to button, you can add these class button and all that to make things fancy. Anyway, so what we can do is I'm going to come over to the button and I'm going to do class. I'm going to do button. Okay, but we need to do button.primary. And there you go. That's a beautiful button. Okay, so currently if I add click, nothing happens. So if you guys remember, we need to do the data binding. So let's do that. That's going to be cool. So we can add the code directive. We can add the C# code right here. What we need to do is we need to create a list of to-do items, and we can use for that one a list. What I can do, I can say private, and we are going to do, we can do list. Okay, and this is going to be to-do item like that. And then what we can do to-dos is equal to new. So you're creating a new to-do list like that. And then I'm going to save this. And then we need to bind something to this input element, right? So what I can do string, and we can do to do. Okay, and it's going to be empty. So I'm going to save it. And what I can do is I can come over here and I can do bind, and I can bind it to this to do. So now this input is tied to this. So if whatever I type here, it's going to get reflected here. Okay, so that's one thing. Now we need to somehow add this to do to this list. So for that, we're going to add a handler. So we're going to do void. We're going to do on add. Okay, like that. And then what we can do is first let's check if string dot is null or empty, right? And what are we checking against? It's going to be the to do. Okay, so now we need to add the to-dos. We're going to to-dos.add, and then you can do new to-do item. And then what we can do is, we don't need this. We can simply do name is equal to do, right? And that should add the item. If I come here and if I do test, well, nothing will happen because, we're not displaying the list. One thing we should do is clear this one. So you can simply do is equal to like this. And if I come here and if I do test, boom, okay, so it's not, oh, we haven't, we need to bind this to on add to this button. So the way to handle click handlers, you can do the add symbol and on click, and then all you do is give it the name of the handler. Pretty nice. So now if I do test, okay, it's not happening. Why? Sorry, it should be if not. If the string is not null or empty, then you add it. So now if I come here and do test, okay, still not coming. As you can see, when I type something and add this, nothing is happening. And there's a reason for this, because this is currently very static, is not handling any user events. So to add that to this component, what you need to do is you're going to come over to the top and add another directive, and it's called render mode. We're going to do render mode, okay, and it's going to be interactive server, and we're going to save it. And now if I come here, let's restart it, and boom, as you can see, now we are hitting our actual function, because I can see it's setting it to empty. Cool. So now that we have that, let's render the list here so we can see what are we adding. So we're going to do this. We're going to come over here and add a ul unordered list like so, and then within it we're going to do a for each, and we're going to do var to do in to do's. Okay, and then we're just going to do li, and then this will be add to do dot name. So let's save it, and this is what we have been adding so far. So if I do wash car, and then I can see throw garbage, boom. So that's coming really nice. It'll be nice to add a checkbox so that when we check it, we can kind of have it completed. All right, so the way we're going to do this is I'm going to bring this to new line, and maybe we can do an input, and type will be, say, checkbox. Okay, and we're going to bind this to the to do dot say is complete. Okay, so let's save it, and as you can see, boom, we have that. So one problem we have is when we check it, it's not getting removed from here, so maybe we should take care of that. For that one, what we can do is we can render another list here like so, and let's say I'm going to give it the h3 and it will be completed. And how about we just give it a count? So it will be you can actually do an expression here, and the expression goes like this. So we're going to do to-dos dot count, okay, add to do, such that we're going to do to do dot is complete, okay, like so. So I'm going to do this and do that. So if I save it, then we have completed because this is what we did. So if I uncheck, as you can see, it's getting, going to the completed. It'll be nice also to show a list here. And for this one, let's say I'm going to copy this one, and maybe I can add it here. And for this one, we're going to say not completed. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are not completed, and we have only 2 that are completed. So as you can see, they are both showing the same list, which is kind of incorrect. So what we need to do is, for example, in this one, show only the 4, but in this one, we should only show the 2. So how do we do this? So this is where we can do conditional ifs inside the your for each inside the HTML actually. So I can do if to do dot is complete, right? So if it is completed, sorry, which list is this? This is the not completed. So we need to do not. If it's not completed, then we're gonna basically show it here like so. I'm gonna save it and boom, that's so easy. And for the other one, I want to come over here and do the same thing, but I just need to reverse it. So if it is complete, then you show it here. I'm going to save it, and there you go. So let's kind of organize everything. And if I come here, it kind of goes back there. And if I click here, it comes here. So I think that's pretty cool, right? And as you can see, maybe let me just refresh so we can do a fresh one. So it'll be like wash car, throw garbage, and let's say mow the lawn, okay, and maybe eat. These are what to do. So let's say I've already eaten, so I'm going to add that to my completed. I washed the car, so I've added that here. But let's say if I want to do it again, I can go back and forth. So one thing would be nice to maybe mark this as a line through, so that maybe we can, kind of show it's highlighted. So it's done. And I also want to remove this these ugly pins from here, or dots. So for this one, we can use Bootstrap. And for this one, I'm going to come over here, and if you go to Bootstrap, for example, if you go to list, then they have this class list group. So let me copy this class from here, and I'm going to put this over on this one. And also I'm going to put it on this one. All right, so let's go back, and if I save it, boom, that's that. And we need to do also add one on the class item. So I'm going to go back so we can see the change, and we're going to do like this, and we are going to do like that. There you go. It's much better. How about we just maybe fancy the checkbox? So if I come over here, and they have, let's see, form control checks. So what you can do is on the form check input, so we can add that class. So I'm going to copy this one, and on the checkbox, let's come over here. You can add it here. I'm going to save it, and see it's like nice and big. It looks much nicer. Let's add one on the completed ones. I'm going to save that, and boom. So now you have a pretty cool checkbox. Now, so as I was talking about, we need to add a line through. So how can we do that and apply it only to this component? So for that, you can come over here. As you can see, you have a to-do.razor. So what you want to do is this. You're going to do to-do.razor.css. So now we can add any CSS, and that CSS will be applied then to basically stuff here. But of course, we need to specify the class. So let's come over here to, let's say, this completed to-dos, and let's say I want to add it to this one. So I'm gonna wrap this in a span, and then I can take this one and I can put this here, and then I'm going to do a class of, say, oh, completed. I'm going to save it. Nothing is going to happen, so I'm going to take this class and go to the CSS. We're going to do like this, and then I'm going to do font, sorry, it's text decoration. So we're going to do text decoration, and we're going to do line through and save it. And let's see if maybe we need to restart this. So we're going to do Control R just to reload it. Okay, so let's do wash car, and we're gonna do throw stuff. And if I complete it, boom, as you can see, it's got the line through, and that CSS is only applied here. I think that's pretty nifty. It would be also nice to maybe just apply class to this input so we can close the deal. So I can come over here to its form control, and as you can see, we can maybe add a class or form control. So let's come here, let's close this, and let's close this, and I can come over here to this, say, which one? This input, and I can do this, for example. Let's save it, and boom, it's kind of like this. Okay, so I hope you guys learned a lot in this very nice introduction to ASP.NET Core with Blazor. It's a very powerful full stack UI framework, and with the Razor pages, as you can see, you can just write C# code, and this is server rendered, so it's pretty fast, super fast. And it's a very professional framework used by, in a lot of professional apps like enterprise level. So we'll be, I guess, creating more content around ASP.NET, and stick around, and bye now.